In the second half, he's there crying and begging God, please, I need you, I need you, I need you. We see it happens to be, you see throughout the first half, God is always in the third person. The Lord is my light, He is my light. Even if a war rises against me, even then I will be confident. One thing, even when he asks God, he says, one thing I ask of the Lord, doesn't say one thing I ask of you. It's all, the first half, it's all in the third person. He's not talking to, he's talking to himself, but he's talking so proud of himself. In the second half, it's always in the second person. You, of you my heart, your face, oh I seek it. Then I hide your face. Teach me your way. It's all in the second person. It's all in the second person. It's all talking directly. Now, what is the story here? Maybe if it would be the opposite, we would understand. We would say, David was facing a war. He was begging God. He was turning to God and said, please save me, save me, save me. And then God saved him. But here we see the opposite. We see a different story. He begins with the confidence. He begins in telling how things are great. And he concludes with begging God. And when he was talking to God and really his confidence, God was like the third person. When did he feel God? When did he feel God's presence? When he was begging, when he was suffering, when he was talking and begging to God's help. And I think the verse here begins, Lord is my light. On Rosh Hashanah, we celebrate the creation of humanity. But the very beginning of the creation of the world, God created light. And God told us that the light is good. It's the only thing that God refers to specifically and said, He saw the light and the light is good. All the other things He says, and God thought it was good. And God thought it was good. In the book of Genesis. Only on the light, He said, and what light is that? It's not the light of the sun, because the sun and the moon were only created on the fourth day. But it's the basic light of the world. But once in a while, we feel we're lacking that light. And when David says, I want to be in your house, in your temple, all the days of my life. What does it mean, all the days of my life? Both when I'm in days of confidence and when I'm in the days of suffering, I want to feel your closeness. I want to feel how close I am to you. And as we're reading through this psalm throughout the month of Elul, preparing for the high holidays, beginning a new year, we know that very often we talk, as a matter of fact, in our life, maybe when we're young, we say, everything's great, nothing's going to happen to me, what can happen to me, I can take over the world. And suddenly when we grow up a little older, we say, no. We need God. But God's here in this psalm, by the way. 6 times in the first half, and 6 times in the second half. And then there's one sentence at the end. It says, have hope in the Lord, referring to the first half. Be strong, and He shall give courage to your heart, and have hope in the Lord, for the second half. The second half was the difficult part. So he says, have hope in the Lord, and then 7 times. 7 times for the first half and 7 times the second half. But the concept of what we're beginning a new year, we should know, sometimes at the beginning of the year you're full of hope. Wow, I'm going to be so great. Everything's going to go so great. And you should remember that you may have some obstacles to overcome. And you may have some difficulties to overcome. Take along with you those days of the confidence. Take along with you, and that you'll be able to fulfill and fill your life in the times of distress. In the times, but also don't forget, in the times of distress, God is there, present in the second person. That's when you're actually really feeling. Because when you're sure everything's great, you don't really have Him involved with your life. When do you really feel Him and beg Him? When you're really going through suffering. my life in the past few years when I went through days of difficulty. Whether it was 5 years ago when there was an attempt to assassinate me, and many people prayed on my behalf all over the world. And then, when God gave me the strength and I overcame, thanks to the medical system, thanks to the prayers. But my beloved wife, Yafi, fell to a position of post-trauma. She was suffering bitterly for 2 years. And eventually, the disease overcame her. But many of the people here accompanied me in all of those times. Grace, I see you. I remember how many times you came to visit Yafi in the hospital. You were with her and holding her hand and praying for her. And we don't understand God's ways. We do understand that everything that God does to us, we have to fill our batteries with the confidence and see the wonderful miracles He's doing to us. And remember that the obstacles are there, that we should feel how close He is. And we should want to be in God's presence in all the days of our life. Days of difficulty and days of confidence. Days of celebration and days of distress. And yes, we don't know what the future is of the state of Israel. We've gone through sometimes years of war and terror and years of flourish. And when things are flourishing, we have to remember God in those days also. And when the things are difficult, we have to pray to Hashem that He should give us the strength to overcome those things. We're beginning a new year, and I'm beginning a new project and a new dream. And I really, truthfully, as Rivka put it in the article in the paper, it's really a vision that I believe from the bottom of my heart. That I'm here to bring light to the world. Torah is called Or. Torah Or. The redemption process is also called Or Chadash Al Tzion Ta'ir. God is bringing a new light to Zion. V'nizkeh kulanu, we should all have the privilege of seeing and experiencing and being inspired by the light. And many people here are doing it in different ways. I do hope that Shalom Jerusalem brings true shalom not only to Jerusalem, from Jerusalem to the world. I always say, it says Shalu Shalom Yerushalayim. It doesn't mean pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Pray for a Jerusalem peace in the entire world. A Jerusalem peace is not a peace of just tolerance, a peace of no war, of ceasefire. Peace of Jerusalem is a peace of understanding that we're all part of one God. It's a peace of harmony, diversity, and inclusiveness. And we pray that the entire world should be privileged with Shalom Yerushalayim. And I hope, Bezrat Hashem, together with my wonderful wife, we're going to be able to bring comfort, but not only comfort, strength. And we will receive strength from those widows and orphans who overcome their difficulties, and they know that God is their father and Hadass is their mother. But they will really to know that they have a lot of strength if they remember that God is the father of orphans. So, as we are really coming close to the new year, I want to wish each and every one of us, every one of you, a wonderful year. A year of blessing, a year of flourishing, a year of shalom. A year of happiness between husband and wife, parents and children. You know, it's not so difficult, not so easy to raise parents in our generation. It's a difficult thing to raise parents in this time. But we should all be able to be part and cooperate in bringing the light of God to others, to the entire world, to all of humanity. And really reminding ourselves that now we saw after 70 years the world is beginning to recognize Jerusalem. Jerusalem not only as a political place. We hope that we'll have a success in getting the world to recognize Jerusalem. And now we have Uri is passing wine among us. We're going to bring l'chaim. And I'm going to request, we have two rabbis here, Rabbi Adler and Rabbi Singer, to put up the mezuzah.